Welcome back to Good Guardian Canine Working Dog. Good Guardian Canine Working Dog, more than just dogs. Thank you for joining me again. This is a series I'll be doing on the Old Family Red Nose for those who appreciate and love this particular Irish strain of the game dogs, the Old Family Red Nose. I'll be sharing a series on this strain for a while, and I'll try to keep the expansion time to about 15 minutes or so. I know people are very busy. Though you're game dog lovers, I know you're very busy. So within 15 minutes, you should be able to find some time in that sense to enjoy these. The intention here is not to highlight every single aspects of the Old Family Red Nose that is known, but just certain particular areas that maybe needs to be spoken on a little bit more, and maybe some areas that you weren't familiar with, or maybe some photographs and footages of dogs that you've never seen. I'll try to share some of those as well. If you have footages on the dogs of old kennels that used to breed the Old Family from the past, I'll be more than happy to get in contact with you, or you get in contact with me through Instagram or Facebook, and we can share ideas that way. The only thing I do ask those persons who wish to be argumentative over the dogs who were not there in the past, I'm really trying to avoid that. I want to speak to those who are mature and intelligent and decent, who would want to have a conversation about the preservation of the dogs and share some truth and facts on the dogs that maybe is not known, or maybe if I have spoken some things in error and you'd like to correct that, I welcome that as well. I can learn something from you that way. With that said, enjoy the videos, enjoy the dogs, and take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I will see you in the next one. So I was asked to explain what qualities define a modern Old Family Red Nose, especially since so many are making these claims falsely today. And the simple answer is really lineage. At least 100 years of genuine Old Family Red Nose pedigree should be present in your dogs in order for that dog to be classified as real Old Family Red Nose. The dog must be a descendant of the original family of Irish red-nosed dogs, which were an exclusive strain kept by certain families in Ireland in order for that dog to be classified as an Old Family Red Nose. In addition to this, there must be a minimum of 80% pure Old Family Red-Nosed blood in the modern genetics of these dogs for such a dog to qualify as Old Family Red-Nosed. It is necessary for this to be proven scientifically as well. Certification by science is what I mean. So DNA certification and preferably ADBA certification. These are some basic characteristics, but absolutely necessary. Now, the temperament of the modern dogs must reflect the heritage of the traditional Old Family Red-Nosed dogs of the past, which were sought after. If not, the modern dogs do not qualify as true Old Family Red-Nosed. Here are a few qualities that these dogs should possess and display in order for these dogs to qualify as true Old Family Red-Nosed. Raw aggression, but controlled or controllable, clear-headed, intense in all areas of work, and excel at any task, extremely smart and agile as a cat, animal aggressive, extremely intense prey drive as well. Extreme loyalty should be found in the dogs. The body type must be an athletic body type in order for the dogs to qualify as an Old Family Red-Nosed. At this point, I'll share a few photos of some of the Old Family Red-Nosed dogs from the past that makes up a lot of the pedigrees that you're able to get your hands on nowadays, and a lot of the modern dogs now. These are from a few books that I've collected over the years. One of the questions I'm asked a lot is, Why are the dogs so small now? Is it that the game dogs can't be any larger? Is this the natural size, under 40 pounds or under 50 pounds? With respect to size, a few factors are at play here in relation to the Old Family Red Nose. First of all, the Old Family Red Nose is a particular strain of dog that typically threw larger dogs. It was very common to find a 65-pound to 68-pound Old Family Red Nose dog. That wasn't a strange thing. It was a common thing. And the dog had much more bone and substance to them. If you even look at a lot of the older pictures of some of the foundation stock, you would see that the dogs were a bit thicker. They had better bone structure than a lot of these dogs now that they're claiming are Old Family Red Nose. So that's something to keep in mind and to note. Also, Centipede as one of the foundation dogs was 65 pounds. I should mention that. Dakota Chief of Larsan was a modern Old Family Red Nose from Willrocks. He was 65 pounds. Many other dogs were 65 pounds and even over. So it's typical of the Old Family Red Nose to throw larger dogs. Another factor to keep in mind as well, a few of the Old Family Red Nose breeders were involved in dog shows. And it's not that the dogs were so much a show dog as if the dog lacked gameness. They were still pure Old Family Red Nose and very game, but they were being shown in order to promote the breed and to gain some notoriety for the breed itself, because it was a new strain of dog, at least in the United States. In Ireland, of course, families kept them exclusively and guarded them jealously. But in the United States, a few breeders were promoting the breed and were breeding them for show. So naturally, they bred for a thicker dog. They were line breeding. The dogs were still pure Old Family Red Nose, and yes, very game, but a bit thicker. One of the dogs that were along those lines that you'll find a lot thicker and very good conformation were the Sirona dogs. The idea that the American Pit Bull Terrier or game dog, it can't be 65 pounds or even above that, it's really not factual. The dogs can be larger, and many dogs were found to be larger. The dogs varied in size. Their sizes vary. The dogs were bred down to size because of the now outlawed sport, and also you would find that inbreeding, when you inbreed extremely to preserve gameness, after 7 to 12 generations, you lose size on the dogs. The dogs will dwarf naturally. So those are some of the factors that cause the dogs to be a bit smaller. Those who were involved in the now outlawed sport would breed the dogs to be smaller because they were easier and more convenient to work with a smaller dog. Also, if you took the time to observe, you would find that the foundation dogs, a lot of the Old Family Red Nose of the past that are much more tightly and closely related to the Irish imports, you would find those dogs to be more girthier dogs, thicker bone mass and more substance to them, if I could put it that way. I know that's a term that is used a lot by show people, but I'm not speaking of show dogs. I'm speaking factually of a lot of the foundation Old Family Red Nose dogs. Strong Irish blood. The dogs had a lot of structure and bone and substance to them. They weren't this depiction of a lot of these modern dogs that are very scrawny looking and they're missing a lot of bone and head type or head structure. To maintain a factual balance, a lot of the dogs were also small too. A lot of the foundation Old Family Reds were small as well. As I said, the sizes of the dogs varied. You had dogs that were 48 48 pounds, 45 pounds, 39 pounds, 53. You had smaller dogs, so the sizes varied. But yes, you definitely had larger dogs that were 65 to 68 pounds. Personally, I've never seen any that was over 70 pounds, but 68 to even 69, I saw that in a lot of the earlier dogs. This has been part one of the Old Family Red Nose, the Rolls Royce of game dogs. Hopefully you found it informative and seen and learned some things that you have not known. We dealt with the variance in the sizes of the dogs in this part one. In part two, I'll get into a bit of why we're seeing such a high concentrate of white on the modern Old Family Red Nose when the dogs are typically a solid red dog or with a little bit of white, about 2% or less on the dogs. We'll deal with that in part two. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the videos, enjoy the dogs. Take care of yourself and your families, and I'll see you in the next one.